What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a pop punk dad podcast. I'm Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris 183.
And we're still here. It's a long month of what month are we in? March? It's a long month of March in where I pick all the albums, and I'm a little bit still hungover from our chat with Mike Landlot last week. But we are moving on to something, Chris, that we have never, ever tackled before. That is music, is not pop punk, but it's musical comedy, right?
Yeah, but wasn't Weird Al musical comedy too?
You know what? Let's ask that question again in half a second. You may be right. I feel like he's more in the music and less in the comedy, and this might be the opposite way. But anyways, quick shout out to our patrons, Tom, Punkestad, Ashley, Jason, Sam, and Nick. Stick around the end of the episode. We have something special for you. But without further ado, the album that we're talking about today is called Superhero. And the artist is a gentleman by the name of Stephen Lynch, who I've been a fan of for quite some time. And because we don't talk about comedians all that much, we figure we should probably invite one on, and we need some comic relief here. So he's been on before. He hosts the Kill Your Gods podcast. He's our Philadelphia comedian friend, Jesse Dram. What up, man?
Hey, Waka Waka. I'm the comedian guy. How you guys doing?
Did you bring a chest with some props or anything for us, or?
Yeah, I got my rubber chickens revulcanized, and they are ready to go. Their squawkers are all up to date.
And I don't know if you're Irish. You have reddish hair, but we're recording on St. Patrick's Day. So if you are Irish, then I'm glad that you are sober enough to speak with us at the time.
That's right. Erin go bra up the ra. I am Irish, partially Irish. I'm celebrating. Actually, I am doing sober March right now. So I am. Oof, my blood is revolting against me right now. It's crying out for alcohol to celebrate my homeland.
Well, you're more than halfway through, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yes, proud of myself.
So why don't you answer Chris's question? I wanted to pause it until we were, all properly introduced.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, hold on. What was it exactly? I know it involved Weird Al. I was actually bringing up my notes as we were talking.
Yep, it was. Steve had said we've never done an episode on musical comedy before, and I said yes, we have. Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al is musical comedy. Weird Al, I would say, is the height of musical comedy. To quote the great philosopher Homer Simpson, he who is tired of Weird Al is tired of life.
So then this is the second one. This is the second musical comedy album.
It's different. Okay, we'll give you that. It's much different.
Very different. Very different.
It is. It's much more inappropriate. So anybody who's listening, if you're planning on listening to this album or any Stephen Lynch, as I told Chris, don't do it with your kids in the car because it's not appropriate for the little ones. They're Weird Al, musical comedy, mostly appropriate for kids. Stephen Lynch, no, not so much.
Yeah. And there are several songs that he pitches as if they are directly to children. So don't let Mr. Lynch fool you. He is pulling the wool over your eyes.
That's part of the genius. And, I've been a fan of Stephen Lynch for a long time. I think this album came out in 2003. I think I found out about him maybe a little bit after that, maybe 2005 or something like that. Do you guys have any idea who Stephen Lynch is before this exercise that we're doing this evening?
I do not. I've never heard of him in my life.
Oh, really? You hadn't heard of him at all?
No, because I didn't. I didn't. Okay. So he was on Opie and Anthony, right? Is that
he was a guest there, but he also had some Comedy Central specials.
I was going to say, Comedy Central Presents it's sad how far Comedy Central has fallen because there is a generation of great comedic talent that first got noticed on Comedy Central Presents, which was their classic half hour. Particularly me when I was in middle school and high school, it was always on at 3 or 4 o'clock, right when you got home from school. That's where Dane Cook had his big break. Stephen Lynch, I believe Louis C.K. was one of them. And now there's I think Comedy Central is just nothing but the Daily Show and South Park reruns.
Pretty much. Yeah. So, I mean, look, I didn't watch any of that. And I didn't listen to Opie and Anthony, so I had just didn't know who he was. I mean, I had friends that really were into stand-up comedy during that time frame, during this time frame, and they would talk about different comedians. I don't think this was even one that ever came up even once.
So I'm actually I was a big fan of Opie and Anthony. They've pretty much all ruined their reputations now with being like terrible racist people, but they were very funny and very important. The whole thing with Opie and Anthony is like the only reason they became famous is they were the first radio show that like they were based in New York City. They brought on all the best comedians of a generation, and they mostly had the good discipline to like sit back and shut up and let the funny people do the work. Like most people did not listen to Opie and Anthony for Opie or Anthony. But while Stephen Lynch had some good appearances on there, he was actually not really a part of like the crew of regular guys there. And I don't believe he was a New York guy. I think he was always an LA guy. So he was touring and like he would stop in when he came around, but he was like not one of like their main itinerary of guests.
I always thought that they weren't Philly based. They're New York based, Opie and Anthony.
Nope, they were syndicated in Philadelphia. But
Okay.
yeah, no, when we were hearing them in Philadelphia, we were hearing their show on WNEW, which was the major rock station in New York, which I think switched to like talk or sports forever ago. Like if you have any interest in radio, it is just like the saddest downfall of like the last 25 years of watching what happened to all of it.
I mean, that happened in all of radio. And I was always a big Howard Stern fan as a kid, and even now. And so I dabbled in Opie and Anthony a little bit at times, but I never listened to it too much. And I don't even think that I heard of him through Opie and Anthony necessarily. I think a friend of mine like put on one of the songs or something like that, which made me, buy the album. And then once I heard the first one, I went back and bought all the previous ones. And then I would look to see, because he tours like a band does, he does,
Right.
or I guess a comedian. It's not as intense like every night, like a stand-up might. But I remember I've seen him like 5 times. And the first time I drove, I think I still lived in State College, and I drove all the way to Atlantic City to see him, which is not a close drive. And then I've seen him here in Philly a couple times, like 3 times. And I even went to Wilmington, Delaware once to see him. So when he comes around, I'm usually interested. Like I want to see it. And he's very interesting because when you think about like, what would you see if you go see Stephen Lynch today, right? He's got 4 studio albums and 4 live albums. So he's basically got 8 albums. He's got 2 specials. So all these songs that you like know and remember, there are ones more popular than others. You might not hear almost any of them because he typically will tour when he has new material. So you're hearing something that's brand new. And the thing about Stephen Lynch is that most of the songs, you're kind of sitting there waiting for the punchline, right? He introduces the song and you're waiting. So when you're there in the audience, as long as you can hear well and it's a good venue, which usually it is, you kind of don't really know what's coming up, which I found is always exciting. And I do like just going to regular stand-up shows. I was just at Helium Comedy Club there in Philly for a date night, maybe Valentine's Day or something like that. So I like that stuff.
Who'd you see at Helium?
Oh man, I don't know the dude's name. He had a very eclectic name. He played for 3 nights. I would have to look it up. He was part of some NBC shows that I didn't even recognize. We were just looking for something to do. And
gotcha.
Sometimes I feel like the openers may have even been better than he was, but he was fine. He was a young guy too.
Yeah, the openers tend to be like the local people I know in the pool of comedians, and they're pretty good. They only put on the best. So yeah, 2 things I just want to hit on. You mentioned how so it's very funny when it overlaps with musical comedy, just because musicians and comedians tour totally differently. Like comedians, they tend to go to one venue they're at for 3 nights. They'll do 5 shows, whereas musicians, they tend to do 1 show and bounce to the next. Just my little bit of research I found on Stephen Lynch, it seems like he did tour much more like a musician. He didn't do the full weekend at one venue. He would typically go to like House of Blues or like the smallest. Like he would probably go to the Trocadero back in the day. That would probably be where you would see him in Philadelphia.
I saw him at TLA a couple of times.
Perfect example.
Which is the same type of venue as Trocadero.
Right. But then again, that also shows how popular he is, because a comedy club, even one of the big ones, holds like maybe 400 people for a show. Whereas even like TLA or something like that is going to have multiple thousand people.
Yeah, 2,000-3,000.
Exactly. The other thing I wanted to address is just musical comedy in general is just in comedy overall, it's really looked down upon because it can be very easy to be hacky with it. And I kind of like Stephen Lynch, but I do feel he kind of falls into that mold just because, like, if you're even half paying attention, you can probably pick out just based on the first, like, what the rhyme is going to be, like what the punchline is going to be. But I do think he's kind of clever how he does it. He goes very, very shock humor. And usually there'll be like the first verse, and it's like, okay, so suddenly this lullaby is going to be about fucking my grandpa. And like, the turn is coming. I do think he's a little more clever than most in how he gets those jokes out as far as a musical comedian.
When you say a little bit hacky, though, what do you mean? Like, give me an example.
Just in the fact that like it's base, you see, you know what? If I had to give one overall definition of hacky, it would be it's been done and you kind of see it coming.
Yes.
And just the actual structure of music, like it's kind of just set up like, line one, rhyming line two, the joke is going to come on the fourth one. Just like in comedy, there's like the rule of threes. That's kind of like the musical comedy thing. Like, it's going to come up. That's why when you see a really good one, what was his name? Reggie there's a musical comedian that's done a bunch of stuff. He works with a lot of loopers. He's very funny. A guy who I still think is going to blow up in a few years, guy named Jay Simpson from Philadelphia, now in New York, is hilarious. He's different than any musical comedian I've ever seen because it's almost like he developed as a comedian and a musician totally separately. He was a musician as a teenager, then he did comedy for a few years, and then he mixed it together, and it's really hard to describe, but he's great. I would recommend anybody look for Jay Simpson for musical comedy for what's coming up next.
It's a great name, Jay Simpson.
His Instagram handle is OHJ Simpson, OJ Simpson, because he's right there. He's half black. Why not? Make
That's
the most
funny.
of it.
That is funny. So, Steve, when you first heard this album, did you like belly laugh the whole time? Was it that funny?
Yeah, I felt like I was at a comedy show, but I was, listening to it on a CD. So, I mean, I don't know about belly laugh, but I mean, I definitely got the cleverness of it. Appreciated that.
How old were you when you first heard it? Because I will say, I think this was, for the age I was, like, that Comedy Central Presents was 2000. This album came out a few years later, so that would be 13 to 16 for me. So yeah, that humor is like targeted towards that. I was the perfect age for Stephen Lynch.
I was probably 21 or 22. So I was at the age in life where I could go see him and have a beverage, an adult beverage, and get a little drunk and have a good time there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see this being funny if you were completely drunk.
That's the only way?
Dude, yes.
Oh, Chris, why do you hate laughing? Why do you hate life?
I don't. Do we want to get into this now, or I don't want to burst your bubble, man. This is your choice. You chose this.
That's okay. Do you like Demetri Martin? I know that you like Adam Sandler's comedy music record.
No, I liked it when I was 11.
I think that's a great description for Adam Sandler overall.
So you don't have like nostalgia about it? Like, I liked that album.
No, bro. I listened to some Adam Sandler. I listened to They're All Gonna Laugh at Me Again, probably in the last 10 years, and it just did not hit the same way. I remember listening to it for the first time, and I couldn't believe my ears. I could not stop laughing at Toll Booth Willie. I thought it was the best thing I ever heard in my whole life. And now it's like, wait a minute, what? Like, you sure? So here's the problem with this, and I appreciate comedy. Like, I'm a big fan of comedy. I think that there's specific types of comedy that specific people like, and I like a specific type of comedy. And I mean, look, I just don't like comedy that feels like it's been done a million zillion times. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Stephen Lynch, all of the things that he chooses to sing about, all of the words, all of the themes, I've heard 10 billion times. I've heard the D&D joke about the dude in the basement every day of my life. Like, how is that? How in the world am I going to laugh about that?
I mean, have you ever heard it set to music?
That doesn't help. Now, I
think it
will
does.
say this.
Mhm.
The guy's he's a talented musician. Like, he plays good tunes. I even think some of the music that's behind some of these songs is entertaining and it sounds good.
Mhm.
And look, I can't tell you that I could sit down and write a song like this either. So I'm not going to take that away from him. The guy, has talent in that ways, but I just don't think that this type of humor is funny. I don't. And it has nothing to do with it being offensive or anything like that, because I love offensive humor. I
Mhm.
don't get offended.
Well,
So it's not that.
so the fact that we've already mentioned Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony being tangentially involved with the same time period of this, really, so I think part of what you're dealing with is when he comes out,
Is it he has no
are,
soul?
it's that,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
No, I think we really are at that time period, early 2000s. We're seeing the cresting arc of shock humor, because I feel like that stuff goes down very quickly once we get into the 2010s. Just because, like, I mean, it's not on this album. He literally has a song called "Baby Raper." Like, it's very extreme, and
He's got a
it's
song about
funny.
a kid in the Special Olympics. I mean, he's got a lot of things that I don't think fly. Some on this album, we'll
Mhm.
get to those, but
Right.
he's got a lot of things that don't fly.
Right. And so to make a comparison, I don't know if you guys remember this. You remember when Bob Saget died a few years ago?
Yep.
There was actually a few people, this popped up, I saw on social media several times and on TikTok, of people saying, don't mourn Bob Saget because he made all these horrible jokes about molesting the Olsen twins. And he probably did it because why would you make that joke if you weren't somehow being serious? And I really tried to make the point to people, like, you are clearly 19 years old, because if you were alive in 2003, that was every fucking joke. Like, could you imagine a Zoomer listening to this today and being like, we need to cancel this guy because he's jerking off in front of his grandfather and he's telling sex stories to his daughter. Like, he must be doing something like that. Like, the type of comedy that is popular really has changed that much that people who are coming up today can't even fathom that being all right.
And you can tell by his more recent releases, and he doesn't have a whole lot too recently. He came out with an album in 2019, but even the one before that, which was 2012, way less of the super risque stuff, because this is when when social media gets big, that's when they start to call people out on all this shit. And then you get yourself in trouble. I guess as a comedian, a lot of your material is going to be recorded, so you can say like that was funny at that time. But there are people that don't buy that.
Right?
Maybe you're right.
Comedy ages like milk.
I think maybe you hit it right on the head that we're a little desensitized. Those of us at this age are a little desensitized to shock humor, and it's less funny because we heard it so much throughout our peak time, with shows. I would watch shows like Wonder Shows and things like that were all shock humor.
The greatest show ever. I loved Wonder Shows.
I have it on Blu-ray. But
Nice.
so I mean, but it was all over. It was everywhere. And now it's like, okay, so we're listening to this and he uses the shock stuff as a punchline. And I don't find it funny anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
not there.
The other thing to consider, and again, to take this back to Opie and Anthony, so there are still communities online that talk about Opie and Anthony, and it's very clear that the people who are still left talking about the show are the dumbest people in the world, who pretty much they never got what was funny about the show. They thought the being mean part was the funny thing. So when you hear somebody trying to do similar material like this today, they are probably a very right-wing, incel, hateful asshole, because we kind of jumped the shark with this, where somebody being that cruel and vicious trying to be funny, they usually are that cruel and vicious. That's really the thing. Like, there's no nice guys trying to even get away with. If a nice guy came out trying to do this right now, you'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
I buy that he's a nice guy, though. I mean, he's like, half of what he says, and even on this record and other stuff, I mean, half of it is conversational. Like he comes off as a very, very nice guy, even though he has some twisted stuff. But I don't know, not one point in my head did I think that he was really, fucking his mom or doing anything like that.
You look into his personal life, he's not even divorced. He's been with the same woman for 22 years and nobody seems to have a bad thing to say about the guy. And that is, anybody in the entertainment industry will tell you that is a rarity.
Yeah, and he's transcended more than just music and comedy. So I mentioned he's got 4 studio albums, 4 live albums. I do say I like listening to the live albums better because of the laughs from the audience. It seems to sometimes things can be missed with the studio albums. But if you wanted to hear him in a more musical format, half of his stuff is recorded in like that regular format. He does have 2 Comedy Central specials, so I'm sure those are available on whatever plus something, and he actually was nominated for a Tony. He starred in the Broadway version, a play about the wedding singer. So he was on Broadway.
Adam Sandler. See, it all connects. Adam Sandler
all ties
again.
together.
Does he do regular stand up too?
I've never seen him do anything that did not involve a guitar, but I will say that his style has changed over the years. I think his last 2 albums, the person who accompanies him is a female. And the songs seem a little bit much more folky than, on this album, we hear a little bit of classic rock and a little bit of that country and just kind of your basic like rock acoustic guitar. But he definitely gets more folky.
Yeah, he actually does that towards the end of this album where he brings out his buddy to sing backup, which again, I feel like something the way everybody thinks about their brand in advance now. I can't imagine any other entertainer that would do the bulk of a show and then just bring out like, this is my buddy that you've never heard of before, and he's not a part of my act, but he is for this song. Like, that's kind of, but musically, it sounds great. I heard some of the things he did with a fuller band, and yeah, he sounds great. My only complaint about his musicality is after listening to this album, he has VH1 voice. Like all those bands that were huge on VH1, like Vertical Horizon, I could hear him singing any one of those songs. It's just a very, very, again, of the time, like adult contemporary kind of singing style.
I thought that Vertical Horizon song was pretty funny.
Which one?
I Am God or Everything You Want?
Yeah, maybe that one.
Yeah, them and Savage Garden. I have a softness for overproduced cheesy shit. That's why on occasion I'll throw on Christian rock radio because it's all terrible, but it's terrible in like the same fun, cheesy way.
I made the DJ turn off Savage Garden at my graduation party from high school. And he fought me on it. He was like, look, I don't turn songs off normally. Like, are you sure? I was like, can you just turn this off, please?
I have integrity. Which song was it? You'll be my dream, you'll be my breath.
It was,
Ooh, it was the other one.
Yeah, the other one, the Chicka Cherry Cola one. Trust me.
Oh, so many bad bands, and they just vanish off the face of the earth.
Yeah, some of them are still around. But let's get into this album. Just some background on it. It came out January 14th in 2003. It's a live album, but there might be some editing magic here because it was actually recorded over 4 separate nights in 2002 in 2 clubs in New York and 2 clubs in New Jersey. So not all the same crowd. Probably took the best snippets from each one, stitched them all together. It was on Haha/What Are Records, so comedy label, and it did sell over 250,000 copies. So it did pretty well. He's got a following, and some decent streaming numbers on this one. And this was this was I think his second album. The first one was called A Little Bit Special, and then I was kind of deciding like which one I wanted to pick for this week here, and it was probably between Superhero and The Craig Machine because those are the 2 live ones. But the one after that called 3 Balloons, that the lead song, I remember seeing him live before that album came out, and that song is great. That has a really, really good premise and a build up and a super awesome payoff. And then again, the last 2, Lion and My Old Heart, a little bit more folksy, but they're all available. You can listen to most of them in either the live version or the studio version. I would probably suggest the live versions.
And there's actually a couple songs off of the first album on this one, correct?
Yeah, I think he might. I think so. D&D, I think, is on a couple of different ones. I'm not sure what else was on that first one.
The Lullabies on the first one.
Lullaby, okay.
Yeah, you see that not only with comedy, but also musicians. Like that first album, they always want to put like all brand new stuff, but if that first album has really good stuff that they just like didn't have the eyeballs yet, like, yeah, no, by all means, like gussy it up, throw it back out there again, see what happens. I think Newfound Glory, actually, to keep it in the pop punk universe, they had that from their first to their second album. I think exactly. And I think they had one or two other songs that they redid. And thank God, because the Nothing Gold Can Stay version sounds terrible compared to the self-titled one.
And you're one of your other favorite. I think we talked to you about Mest, or we talked about Mest at one point. They did it too with Drawing Board.
Yeah, I always support it. Good material is good material. It's just important that people get to hear it.
And remember, it's a live show, so if it's one of the hits and he's performing this live, he may want to play some songs that people know.
Right, yeah.
All right, any other overarching themes about music, comedy, musical comedy, Stephen Lynch being funny, not being funny, before we get into this track by track?
The only other thing I'll add is that I didn't listen to you, and I prepared for probably 3 weeks for A Little Bit Special, until I went back and looked at the notes again. This is still a couple weeks ago. So I am very well versed on that album too, if we need to know about it.
Oh, so yeah, did you look at this one at all?
Oh, yeah. This is, I gave myself still a couple weeks. I mean, but I start to prepare early. So
Real quick tidbit just to throw in, because you made me think about it with that album sales thing. I looked up an article on Billboard for the top 20 best-selling comedy albums of all time, and the top 5 is 1 Weird Al, 2 Adam Sandler's, and can you guess who would be the 3rd comedy act that had 2 albums in the top 5 ever?
Chris Rock, maybe?
Ooh, good guess.
Or maybe
but no.
Richard Pryor?
No, not at all.
Eddie Murphy? I'm just going with all the really good black comedians.
Nope, not black at all. Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh my God.
Okay. Oh, and weirdly enough, number 6, one of my all-time cult favorites, the Beavis and Butthead Experience. If anybody remembers that album.
That was great. Yeah. Jesse, you're a comedian. Can you sell me on the fact that Jeff Foxworthy's funny?
He's funny to his audience, and that's all that makes me. Again, as a comedian, you not only look at it from a material standpoint, but you look at it from a business standpoint. The dude found his niche and he made goddamn millions, and he like propped up an entire that dude was so successful, he made his friends millionaires. Like Bill Engvall should get down on his knees and kiss Jeff Foxworthy's feet every day, because he is washing trucks in Bug Tussle, Arkansas without him. So I'm not saying he's funny, but you know what? I'll say he's clever enough. I mean, those, You Might Be a Redneck made a whole career out of it. They're funny enough.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would say he would put him in the same league as Carlin, but
no.
And also, actually, like Stephen Lynch, another guy, surprisingly, no one has a bad thing to say about him. Been with the same woman for like 40 years. Actually has a really interesting story I won't get into, but like, yeah, his comedy career has been very interesting.
Look, I'm not going to argue that. I understand where you're coming from, and I don't want to derail the show. Obviously, let's get into the album, but I feel like maybe I'm so picky with comedy. I don't know. Maybe that's my own problem.
Who do you find funny? We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it, but it's come up enough that I'm curious of what you do find funny.
I really like awkward humor. I like Tim and Eric, Tim Heidecker. I really like, I love Will Ferrell. I think that, like Always Sunny stuff, like, they're not comedians, but just that type of writing and humor is amazing. Right. That sort of thing.
Maybe stand-up's just not your thing. I mean, it seems to be more comedic acting you're going with. Tim and Eric have their niche, and they've been huge. Yo, if you have not watched it yet, the documentary of Tom Green on Amazon Prime is amazing. I forgot how much I loved that guy growing up. I texted my friend who like was the same age as me watching that, and he had the same thing. Like, that was so amazing, because I think he made the thing himself, and like on top of that, both of his parents are still alive, so they're giving all their he's interviewing his 80-year-old dad about the Slutmobile and getting his memories. I implore everybody to go watch it. It was so good.
I didn't.
That's funny though.
I turned it off.
And so I watched his stand up. I went to his stand up show like 2 or 3 times, and I just could not stop laughing. Like that's to me, like that's humor. That's what's
and
funny.
it is so insane that he's made. You realize this in the documentary. Before he started the show, he was in a famous comedy rap group in Canada.
Really?
And it is the rarest of things to go from a comedy rapper to a genre inventing television comedian. Because think about it, there's no Jackass without Tom Green. Like we really ignore how much he set up the tone of humor for that time. And then to be able to successfully jump to stand up from that, like he's an extreme talent. Like I respect that guy so much.
See, I love Tom Green. I found the documentary boring. I watched like the
you
first
saw
25. I watched the first 25 minutes and I was like, I'm going to turn on something else. Like it wasn't moving along enough for me. And I like Tom Green. I was a big fan of Tom Green's show. I think I've seen a couple of his stand-ups. I just didn't I thought the documentary was boring.
All right. See, I have ADD, so I watched it while also playing a video game. So maybe you just need to be like, maybe you need to be killing zombies while hearing about, the Slutmobile.
I'll try that. Maybe I don't have to be fully committed to it, is what you're saying. Because I was home alone on a night or something, and I was like, I want to watch this. My wife doesn't want to see it, so I put it on, and I was just like, I'm bored. I had ADD. I was like, I need something else to entertain me.
What's funny, the only movies I can watch without any distraction tends to be like the most pretentious art house bullshit. It has to be so weird that I can't look away. So something like that is a little more traditional. Like I am a big fan of like watching a third of a movie and just like getting to it over the week. So I get that sometimes.
All right, let's get into this album. We'll kick it off. The first song is called "Talk to Me," and we mentioned this a few times, but to me the main thing about Stephen Lynch and his songs is just like waiting for the payoff. Sometimes it's super delayed, sometimes it's immediate. But to me, every time I would see him live or listen to the album, you're just kind of like sitting there, like waiting, and like you're laughing like before before the joke, because you're just waiting to see what it's going to be. For this one, we basically get the premise kind of in the first verse, and then it's paid off with a joke in the chorus. The song is it's about his dad caught him whacking off, caught him jerking off, and he laughs about it. My favorite line in the song is he says, "The look upon your face made my swollen gland diminish." So I said, could you close the door? I really want to finish. I like in the chorus, he changes up the one line each time. He says, "Don't be so sad. I wouldn't use those tissues. They've already been had." Then it's "just because it was your bed, it's not that bad." And then at the end, he combines them all together. So I thought this was a really good, like show kickoff song, album kickoff song. And listen, maybe I like silly poo-poo, potty humor, jerking off, that kind of stuff. I think it's funny. So I enjoyed this one a lot.
Good, Jesse.
Yeah, no. This was one thing I will say about him is I think he really knows how to build the song as he goes, because this could very much be he makes sure to add more details to make it more gross as he goes along. So it's not just about what's rhyming. He really is trying to elevate it as he goes. Again, spanking it, masturbating it, dad catching. I will applaud him for not taking the easy shock bait and taking it further, like his dad blowing him or whatever. And the only thing I will say is I need to state one of the best street jokes of all time, which is related to dads and masturbating, which is a dad tells his son, "If you masturbate too much, you'll lose your eyesight." And the son says, "Dad, I'm over here."
Over here. Yep. Well, classic. I like the fact that you don't even know it's the dad till the end of the first chorus. You don't know who he's talking to, because it could be a spouse, it could be a kid, it could be a mom, and you don't find out till the end of the chorus that it's dad.
Right. Tried so hard, wasn't able to look you in the eye. Like, you don't know what he did. You don't know who he did it to. And then it's just like, you saw me spanking it. And the big punchline at the end of the chorus is, "Talk to me, Dad."
Please. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that is the fun thing about musical comedy is it's really about it's almost about like revealing the joke in just the right order.
I guess, but like, I saw American Pie already, like several years before this. So I mean, is this still like something that's funny? That's the problem. Is that supposed to be the big joke? Like, oh, it's dad. Like that's the joke. I don't know.
Again,
Like,
I was 13. I had the stepdad ask, "Why are you taking so long in the bathroom?" I could relate to this.
I guess. I mean, look, I think jerk off humor can be funny. I just, when it's so straightforward like this, I did not laugh one time. I just don't. I don't think that it was there. I mean, he's just basically telling us what we already know. It's stuff that happens and joked about all the time. I think, at school, at work, wherever you're at, people joke about this. So I'm desensitized to this kind of thing. And it just wasn't delivered. It wasn't delivered in a way that was unique or creative enough that I thought was funny.
If Chris, if we could watch you listen to this album, you would be that emoji that just has the straight horizontal lines for the eyes and the mouth.
I mean, there was a couple things that, I think I wrote down a couple things that were pretty good.
All right. Well, let's,
right.
Good.
Real quick, if I could interject. So I'm pulling up the lyrics as I go, and I just wanted to point out, can we take a look at this album cover? Remember what I said, the VH1 thing? That really does, like, nothing about this album cover looks like a comedy album. Like,
yeah, he looks like his guitar.
Yeah, he looks like he's like looking up to the balcony to serenade Juliet. The parental advisory sticker is like the only thing cluing you that like might be Stephen Lynch might be up to something.
What's with the girl eating the candy bars? Is that part of it? Did you see that? Am I the only one that saw that?
Jesse might have forgot to close his other tabs when he was sharing his screen.
Okay. Look, I am
Pornhub something.
I am a Butterfinger bad boy, and I will not apologize for that.
I think they were granola bars. They weren't candy bars.
All right. Well, I'm on a diet. So what do you want from me?
No one knows what you're talking or what I'm talking about because they can't see. So
I don't even know it went that quick.
Yeah, I legit didn't even say it. But...
I mean, it was literally on the screen for like the whole time he was talking.
I was looking at the album cover. That's what we were talking about.
Am I looking at a different screen? I mean, I looked at the album cover too. I had plenty of time to go back and forth.
I am looking at a lyric site, and for whatever reason, lyric websites are the most spammy, ad-covered bullshit on the internet, even more so than porn. So I don't know what's popping up. Like, oh, I'm seeing the granola lady now. I don't know what she has to do with this. She's just somebody's paying her to make this shit. So good on her.
Okay.
Maybe she needs to go to Dr. Steven.
Cool.
Chris, why don't you kick off Dr. Steven?
So it's just like the joke is he's a gynecologist, right? Is that it? Is that where we're at? I mean, okay.
That's not really the joke. That's the premise.
Okay, but he's like a creepy one. Is that what it is? He's like a creepy gynecologist.
The joke, what's funny, is that you think he's going to say the bad word, and then he doesn't.
Mm-hmm. That is a trope of musical comedy. I like it. I like it when it's done right. Like, it's like, he ended a line with the word bunt, and this song is about gynecology. I don't have a telescope, but I think I see this coming. And then it twists at the last second.
I completely missed that. I just didn't.
You missed that?
I just did not hear it at all. I just heard a bunch of stuff about being a gynecologist.
He's a gynecologist, and then the chorus or whatever, he goes, "I love puss," and then you think he's going to say pussy, but then he says, "Putting women's minds at rest, pushing myself to be the best." So you think he's going to say pussy or cunt or something, and then he doesn't.
I wonder how many gynecologists have gotten into the field for the sex thing, and then just like, they're at medical school looking at a cadaver's vagina going like, oh, this isn't what I pictured.
Probably I would hope not that many OBGYNs got into it for that reason. Because we don't need to get too deep into that.
Maybe like 20.
Yeah.
Total.
Hopefully not the ones that our wives see.
Hopefully not.
Fingers crossed. No, I mean, he crosses his fingers. It's a weird prodding technique. He says it's unique.
Since
I was going to say that could be a joke there.
I've been the wet stick in the mud so far. So you guys go ahead and talk about how much you like this song.
I just think that it's clever because, so right in the very beginning, we find out what he's talking about. He's telling us the joke immediately. I'm a rich and famous doctor. I always knew I'd be an expert in the field of gynecology. And then again, the hilarious part is thinking what he's going to say, but then he passes it and says it completely different. And it's a super short song. But then at the very end, he gets you set up so that he's going, and listen, sorry if people don't like that word, I'm repeating his word. He gets you set up that he really thinks that you think he's going to say the word cunt, right? Because he rhymes blunt, but then he says front. And then everybody kind of groans and laughs. Then he goes, you guys, I would never say cunt to an audience. I mean, that's good. That's funny.
The alternative to cunt you don't hear often enough? Cunny. I was watching Gangs of New York the other day, and Daniel Day-Lewis said "cunny." I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cute. We should bring that back.
But isn't that like what they call each other anyway? Just like it's a replacement for the word like jerk, or
it's more commonplace in England.
Yeah, overseas they're all about calling each other cunts. They're better than us.
Jesse, any other words of wisdom on Dr. Steven? I do like that he's got the same name as me, but he spells it PH, and mine is with a V, so it's quite different. Jew versus not Jew.
Oh, I wasn't aware that was the difference. Okay.
Well, if it's PH, it's definitely based in Christianity. The V could be either.
Okay. Yeah, like there's that weird thing. Like if a name ends with ski, if it's SKI, it's Polish. If it's SKY, it's Russian.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't have too much to say about this one. It's fine. I like the trope he went for. Again, gynecology. It's kind of he really could have like visited a middle school boys school and been like, everybody write down what you find funny, and then picked it out of a bag and like, gynecology. You got it, buddy. I'm putting one together just for you. But whatever. It's fine.
All right, Jesse, keep it going on this next one, which is about the Catholic Church. It's called Priest.
That's right. St. Patrick's Day. Don't forget it. So 2003. It's a comedy song about a priest. Surely it's going to be about I don't know, mishandling funds, maybe, or they're Vatican II, they're changing some of the prayers around. Nah, it's a fucking little boy's joke. The altar boy. Well, okay, Stephen, you are Jewish, so I don't think you have an equivalent. I was an altar boy. Chris, were you an altar boy at all?
No, but I went to Catholic church, so okay, I never did that.
So you were close to the danger zone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fine. I'll be honest. This one. Again, this is another one that, in retrospect, little too serious a topic, particularly at the time. That was when like these news stories were really breaking of like these long-term, not only sexual abuse in the Catholic Church, but the Catholic Church not only not taking it seriously, but like sending like, oh, we're gonna punish this priest. Oh, how are you gonna punish him? We're gonna send him to a different place where they don't know he's a pedophile, but we'll keep an eye on him. I promise. So yeah, again, I don't think it. Yeah, it's not great, but again, it was the style at the time. You talked about altar boys and the priests that love them.
Yeah, I mentioned being a Jew, but I'm not really a religious guy at all. But I certainly can laugh at religious humor, no matter what the religion. I can laugh at mine. I can laugh at yours. I can laugh at ones I don't know that well. This one just kind of. I mean, the music in this one is actually pretty good. I like the tune. He's playing faster. Yes. But I feel like he just maybe pushed it a little too far, and it's like uneasy for me to listen to. Like I do not like listening to this one. I think this, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, this might have been on the previous album that you listened to as well.
It was.
So I guess that he felt that it was good to keep it around and keep it going, but
the song's so nice he recorded it twice.
I guess so, but no, I don't get a ton of ha-has out of listening to this one, really. And then there's a part in the song where he like pauses and makes like goofy sexual noises. So it's not the greatest listen back.
I guess like if you think about it though, and so first of all, you were right. It's a period piece. Like if you think back to the early,
there's
2000s,
one later that's a period piece. Oh,
you think back to the early,
that song that one's on topic for today.
there were countless jokes about, like you said, Jesse, like, it was in movies, it was in shows, it was almost everywhere. The people poked fun at this kind of thing. And the other thing about it is that, before we really, I guess, grew up a little bit and kind of understand like the repercussions of all of this stuff, like as teenagers or, even in our early 20s, when you really just want to be edgy and don't really think about that. That's probably when you're like, haha, this is really funny. Like that happened, whatever. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to hear. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, keep the age I was listening to this stuff is also the same age when like you'd hang out with your friends and go on rotten.com and look at some dude with like his head blown open with a shotgun. Like
I think even back then I would still skip this one.
Yeah, this one was pretty bad.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll move on to the country love song. You want to write a country love song. And Jesse, I happen to know that the lyric site that you're looking at right now does not have the right. There's a couple of incorrect lyrics because I use that site as well. However, I am not above potty humor by any means. You don't necessarily get to the joke until after the first verse. And then it's on. It's about his girl who he was hanging out with, and she farted, and she farted real bad. It was terrible. He tries to exact revenge, and he shits his pants. And is it the greatest song? No. Is it funny? Are some of the lines that he delivers? I suppress a smile when I heard your girly poot poot. I mean that makes me laugh. Hot winds blew from out your back door. That makes me laugh.
See, it is also relatable just because the social gender dynamics of men and women farting are insane, and especially considering like you mentioned yourself going to a comedy club with the wife, like. For whatever reason, going to comedy shows is very much a couple activity. It happens a lot. They're usually the majority of the crowd. Like, this is a perfect, even if it's not the most clever thing ever, this is perfect for like a live audience that not only, it's always fun when not only the crowd is laughing, but when you can see like the husband poking his wife in the arm and she's, oh, stop it. Like that is a good entertainer, even if it's not, not exactly 7 words you can't say on TV.
It's not highbrow, but it elicits a response from probably every couple in the audience, one way or the other. Oh, you're the farter. You're the farter. I don't remember that time.
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, if you want to hear a great comedy country song, I was actually going to bring this up when Chris mentioned the old Adam Sandler albums. Something that mostly died with Adam Sandler is the comedy albums that were just audio sketches. You never ever hear those anymore. The one example is Norm Macdonald released an album that was all audio sketches, and there's a great one called Tex Hooper where Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang, also it's a 19-minute sketch. I insist you go listen to it on Spotify. It's Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang are 2 record producers, and they've brought in this old washed up country singer that's been missing for forever, and they're recording his big comeback album, and every song he starts to sing sounds like classic country. And then it just turns into like blatantly gay love sex stories. And then you have Norm Macdonald and Artie Lang as the producers being like, did he fucking say what I thought he said there?
I feel like I've heard that. It also reminds me of the Tim Robinson sketch, the bones are their money. That one's one of my favorite Tim Robinson sketches.
I cannot get into that fucking guy, and I don't know what my problem is. But it's just...
I don't know what your problem is.
One brand of humor I cannot get into it's the same reason I don't like Broad City. I don't like comedy where there's just one loud yelling guy that everybody else around him is normal while he just yells all the funny parts. I don't know why. It does nothing to me. Always Sunny, there's 5 of those people yelling all the time. Hits me like a bag of cement. I love it. But something about that particular, it's the reason I don't like a lot of Adam Sandler movies. I forget who said it, but somebody made the point of view that like an Adam Sandler character in real life would be like somewhere on the spectrum and should really be like cared for by somebody.
They've lost their appeal to me. I don't know. I thought they were funnier back then. Tim Robinson's definitely on my list though of funny guys. And so is Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald is definitely another comedian I think is very funny. We're going to
I did
continue
not-
to do this.
Yeah, I did not appreciate him enough while he was alive, but yeah, he was great.
100%. I loved Saturday Night Live. I loved him on there. But so yeah, I have nothing more to say about this one. I don't think that's. I don't like potty humor can be funny. Yes, just not this song. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
That's dumb. Like, why do you want to hear about that? I don't know. Why do you want to hear about this?
I mean, I didn't choose the topics that he was going to sing about. I'm just laughing along.
I just didn't like the punchline. I thought it was kind of like, okay, great. So she farted. That's funny. Like, seriously. That's what I would say to Stephen Lynch. I hope we don't.
Surprise
Oh,
guest.
God.
Let me just go to the Zoom waiting room right here.
I hope you're not going to have him on the
Lynch.
show because I'm definitely not going to be there for that one. But
I would
Chris,
love that.
Chris, I just imagined you as like Stephen Lynch's like dorm mate in college. He's like, I wrote a funny song. Why don't you listen to it? And his entire career never happens.
And then Chris goes, "That's funny. Why?
That's funny?
Why is that funny? That's funny."
it's
You
like
find farts wrong?
it's like in Always Sunny. You remember that one episode where Dennis is like, "Oh my God, D, you have no idea what's funny." Like,
I feel like that could be like any episode.
there's just one. I don't know, but anyway, so
All
we
right,
can move
Chris.
on.
Well, let's go to the elementary school anthem. So at the beginning of the titular track here, Stephen tells the audience that he does play a lot of comedy clubs and colleges, but he also plays elementary schools. And this is a song that he plays for the little chitlins and goes into the song Superhero. So what did you think about this one? It's a long song too, maybe 5, 7, 8 minutes, something like that.
I'll tell you what, I thought this was good. I thought this was funny. Like, this was funny to me.
This song was like his breakout from his Comedy Central Presents. I remember this was the big one.
I wonder, though, it must have come off differently than in that, because this requires, unless his audience members are plants, it didn't sound that way. This has got to be a little different each time.
Yeah, no, in Comedy Central Presents, he takes out the entire audience participation part.
Okay. So it's just the straight up part.
Yeah, it's just the straight up part. I think he even skips. By the way, I did notice. Listen to this, like Immigration Dude. Like, I think Immigration Dude is working in the current administration.
Yikes!
Yeah,
A little close to home.
Yeah.
Chris, finish your thoughts. Sorry.
No, but it's the interaction with the crowd that I think really got me. Like, I like the way it started. Awesome man. That's funny to me. And then Drug Free Boy, but it was when the audience started yelling out different things. And I love improv comedy and just things off the top of your head. And, when they started yelling out like butt sex guy and stuff like
Fuck you, man.
Valtrex boy.
Valtrex boy. This is great. So I just thought that was some of the best stuff on the album. And I love the interaction. I like how he took that and kind of rolled with it with some really funny stuff. This is what he should do more of for sure.
Mhm.
And by the way, the sound effect that he makes when somebody from the audience yells out, who would you be? And somebody sells Valtrex man. And then his response is, isn't that the herpes medicine? And then nobody says a word. And then he goes, I'm Valtrex man, oozing the pus of justice. And he makes this sound effect. He goes, bing, 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 bing. And you just like, it makes you think of, it's fucking gross, but very, very clever.
Mm-hmm. Again, I will say musical comedy structure. He has the first two jokes, which are Just This Guy, and then you have Just This Guy's the last one. But yeah, you have Drug Free Boy and Awesome Man.
Drug Free Boy.
Then
Immigration Dude.
Right. But at the final one, Just This Guy, we've heard enough right now that he knows he needs to kick it up a notch, and that's where he does the whole like reveals that he has an ex-wife that he fucking hates, who's obviously ran off with a doctor named Bob. And again, just knowing when to broaden just a little bit. I think that's what really, expands the song and makes it memorable. If you have a long song, and I'm somebody who loves longer songs, the worst thing is when someone's like, all right, is this over yet? And there's still 2 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely thought that through.
Yep.
Yeah. And, when I was kind of deciding between this one, this album and his other album, which has some pretty well known songs by his fans. It's called The Craig Machine. So he's got a song about Craig, who's Jesus's brother. He's got a song called Beals, who's about the devil. But at the end of that album, there's a song called Voices in My Head. And he sits on stage and he sings this song about, thank you all for coming to my show. And then, the speakers actually play what he's thinking in his head and he interacts with himself. And that one is really, really fun to listen to. And the reason why it made me think of it is because it's a longer song. But I think this one, yes, it's super fun. The structured, awesome man, drug-free boy. And he actually takes it kind of far if you actually think about it. Because with drug-free boy, he wants to take all the junkies getting so high with their needles and bongs and sticks made of tie, and he wants to burn them alive and squeal with joy. So you see these little moments of of being off the rails, which then eventually kind of it blows up when you find out that the song is, really about how he's mad about his wife who left him for the doctor named Bob and moved to Hawaii. But the crowd interaction in the song is great. The people in the crowd obviously couldn't come up with some really good ideas, but he was great at the improv part, pussy man. He goes, sir, there's already a pussy man. And that's him. Valtrex, the butt. Oh, fuck you, dude. He goes, fuck you, dude. That's the greatest superhero ever. Oh, I'll just take this TV. What the fuck? And it makes you kind of, even if you're not watching it, you can picture what it looks like. So this song definitely shows his improv and his ability to also weave that in with a structured song. So I enjoyed it a lot. Okay. Turning the page. Turning the page. All right. The next song is called What If the Guy from Smashing Pumpkins Lost His Car Keys?
Best song on the album.
That's just, you've been on this fucking show. We save that for the end. Calm down.
Okay, sorry.
But now you can tell your thoughts on the song there. If there's anything else.
I love that it's not even a song. I love that he had a dumb idea and it's not even this song is not about the lyrics at all. It's entirely the performance and I played it for my wife Perry and she's like, he really sounds like Billy Corgan.
He did. He really did, and I agree. I think this is hilarious. I love the way that it's just nonsense. And you think about Billy Corgan just looking ferociously for his car keys all around the house and screaming in the way that he does on Siamese Dream while he's doing it, and that's hilarious. So
right, because we all know what Billy Corgan sounds like, but it's when it's not until somebody dissects it, we're like, oh, he really does do that. That is a strange way to fucking sing. Okay.
Not only is it a great impression, but I honestly think that almost the punchline of the joke, or at least part of it, is the fact that almost everybody, at least in my world, knows the guy from Smashing Pumpkins' name. Billy Corgan is such a famous lead singer, but he goes with, what if that guy from Smashing Pumpkins lost his car keys? And I do like the fuck here. He starts off 'cause you could tell how agitated he is. Where the fuck are my car keys? So I thought the impression was very dead on in that era, but I love that he didn't actually say Billy Corgan. I think that made it funnier.
Agreed.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, this next song here. So I don't know if it's my turn or not.
There's a couple shorter ones in here. Go ahead, Chris.
You want to go first? This was also, I think, on the first album, by the way, since I'm the resident expert on the first album. And this is a really short song. And I guess what the joke is that he took his mom to prom and got lucky, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's a joke that I don't understand.
This is a joke that there's also a million versions of, because I've heard so many times somebody saying they were homeschooled, but they got to bang the teacher. It's, again, that's what I mean by hack, where all right, there's a few different versions of this. And honestly, reading the lyrics right now, I can't tell you I have zero memory what the melody was. So it wasn't even a musical part really stuck out.
He's just strumming a couple of notes.
Yeah.
But I think that the thing is that he builds it up. He starts off the song. What is not on those lyric sites is the banter with the audience for the most part. And he says, sometimes I'm trying to think of the wording. Sometimes you have to your parents make you like stop writing a song, like sometimes you play a song for your parents and they tell you that you can't you can't continue or something like that. And so that's when he goes into this one. And what's really to say? It's a joke song about banging your mom. I just love his voice inflection at the very end where he goes, "What? Like you never fucked your mom before?" Like I think that he does good with that voice, and I think that's probably the best part of it.
Don't forget to laugh at this joke. I'm gonna explain it to you at the end.
He's,
Just in
haven't
case
you
you
ever
missed
put
it.
yourself in my shoes, Chris? Haven't you ever fucked your mom before? Silence.
Oh.
That's that emoji with the lines.
You know what's funnier than this is, I mean, even Blink 182 is funnier than this song. When the Happy Holidays, You Bastard. I'd rather listen to that than this particular track.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Again, I give dumb hacky stuff. it as egregious as it is, at least it's short. Like that is a very much a positive. If he tried to make a 4-minute song out of this joke, I would probably hate it. But I mean, it eats up so little of your life. It's hard to really hold anything against it.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'd
a
say the
tiny bit
same-
of shock value, a one-liner, and then you move on to the next one.
Yep. And the next one, really kind of the same. Very much a one-note joke.
Yeah, I don't kind of think that this one would really fly these days. I mean,
No.
yeah, this is just making fun of a taxi driver who doesn't speak English and he speaks some sort of he's doing like some sort of Indian like Apu in The Simpsons type of thing, which is also like not a cool thing anymore that a white guy is impersonating an Indian person. I mean, this one did not make me laugh out loud. I don't I don't say LOL. I don't do that.
One thing I'll say in his favor is that some of the background context that doesn't really get stated is there were so many 70s balladeer songs that did kind of really highlight like interactions between people. You think like The Gambler, like I met an old man on a bus and this is what he said to me, or Operator by Jim Croce, where he's just has a meltdown talking to the operator. I do like that aspect that he's setting it up like, let me tell you about this time the words I heard from my wise old taxi driver, and then pivots to, but this is what a taxi driver sounds like today. But again, I don't think of any of that in the moment. I think of it in after the fact. So I can't say it's great on its own, but like, okay, there's a little bit more to it than that, but it is mostly a funny Indian accent song. Joke.
Yeah, that's the punchline. That's what they want. That's what he wants you to laugh at, right? Is that? And we've heard that ad nauseum over the decades, and you don't hear it as much anymore because, again, we talked about how that kind of doesn't fly. But yeah, it's just I don't know.
Yeah,
but
not to mention, Indian immigrants don't drive taxis anymore. Indian immigrants are techies. If you get as somebody who's driving Lyft lately, people are shocked that I speak English because it's by and large like Eastern European immigrants. So it's a whole other demographic now.
I did actually have a Ukrainian guy drive me Lyft from Philadelphia just like 2 days ago. He had to like Google Translate to ask me if it was okay if he stopped for gas. And I'm like, well, what is my alternative? That I don't get home? I'm like, yes. I mean, I would like to get home as soon as possible. I'm with my daughter. But yes, if you need gas, get gas. I kind of wanted to tell him like that gas station is a ripoff right there. But I'm like, that's not my problem. Just get your gas. And
get the gas. Just get gas.
Mm-hmm.
And I did.
All right, this next one's for the ladies, guys.
This one's for the ladies. Hold those woos. Hold those woos.
Get that.
Oh,
it's not really for the ladies, right?
I'm just redoing his joke.
I mean, it's something they have to be concerned about. It is primarily a lady thing.
Yeah, so I found this like as inappropriate as it is. I thought this one was fucking hilarious. I mean, it starts off as this beautiful, sweet, good night, my love, a baby's on the way. And then maybe you could see it coming a little bit, right? Because you know that you're listening to a singing comedian. But when he gets into the details about how to, I guess, avoid the pregnancy to full term. I think those things are pretty funny. And then the last one that he says is just absolutely so egregious. This is your shock humor. Like I wouldn't support any of the things that he is saying in any way, but to think about, back in long days ago when a woman didn't have any other choice, that if she needed to do something like that, they would use a hanger. For him to make a joke about that, I found it funny. I didn't find this one didn't offend me. I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
You know what's funny? There's actually a very funny joke literally at the same exact time on the same exact topic. I feel like Patton Oswalt does not get enough respect as a stand-up comedian. And he has, because I love his joke so much, this one particularly strikes me as very lazy. In Patton Oswalt's one, he basically has him and a girl have like really hot, unprotected sex, but they're like, we need to go get a plan B. But they have like this nice wistful moment of like, I could actually see having a kid with you. But then after 5 minutes at a Costco and seeing unwed mothers with their 5 kids, he's like, get me that baby killing pill immediately. If you're ever thinking of having a kid, go to a Costco on a Sunday and you will pay a skinhead $20 and a 6-pack to just throw your girl down a flight of steps. So I unfortunately have a much more clever version of the same joke that I can't not think of with this.
Patton Oswalt, star of the American Hi-Fi video.
Which one?
It was Another Perfect Day. He's dressed as a corn dog.
The only song I know by them is Flavor of the Week, which is a beautifully terrible song, but
nicely said.
Great video. Great video.
Yeah, I mean it's I've heard this joke so many times, guys. Like this.
Yeah.
I feel like when I turned 19 through 20, 24, 25, like this joke was every day, every single day we would.
You do sound a little
joke
exhausted.
Or hear this joke. This is exhausting to me to hear this kind of humor.
You would make this joke every day?
I mean, it was all around. God. If you didn't hear it all around, and if you hear something all the time and you still think it's funny, I can't help you. I can't be
sorry.
helped.
God, it's like unwanted pregnancy jokes where Chris is Vietnam.
Come on, PTSD. You can't say that this wasn't like the in thing to joke about when you were like in your early 20s. Like it was just like dudes that age would joke about this stuff, and it just got old. I mean, so how many times can you laugh at the same thing? I guess again, and maybe it has something to do with the fact that you're right, Jesse. Like it's not necessarily as creatively done as it could be. There's other stand-up comedians that do this joke much better and don't just like immediately when he starts, I know what he's talking about. I know what he's going to do. So for me, it's like without the element of surprise, for the most part, it's not going to be funny from the get-go because
it's only a minute 24.
He's making like it's automatically, I know what he's going to do. So to me, it's like, all right. Well, whatever. Like you're gonna make a hanger joke. Like, come on, man. Like I've been there.
Maybe I just didn't hear that joke enough as a youth that it was funny. It was still funny to me.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Very possibly. And again, as like a young teenage man, like I'll tell you, as like a 19-year-old, I remember I had a little oopsie with a girl that I noticed the condom had ripped. And I actually did not tell her in the moment because I was so freaked out. And I also knew the girl already had a kid. So I was very much, I called some friends that day. Like,
there's a lot of layers to this onion. My gosh.
Like, do I slip a plan B into her drink? Because
wow.
I knew her family were Jehovah's Witnesses. So like,
oh my God.
That's why she had a baby at like 16. So I'm like, fuck, what do I do about it? I ended up talking with her like a sane person. And she was like, oh yeah, get me a plan B. It's fine. So,
wow. I am so glad the story ended that way. It could have gone many ways. As a comedian, I don't know what you were going to do. You could have made a shitty hanger joke.
No, we're still friends to this day. She's doing great. And none of her kids are mine. So.
I'm not doing so great right now.
You're not doing so great?
No.
Would a deceased grandparent help you out?
There was some points to this next song. So the next song's grandfather, and he frames it up in a way that probably he tries to make it more funny, I guess, by doing that. this I wrote this song when my grandfather fell ill, and immediately, obviously it's going to be a joke song, of course. But so there's a couple things here, and mostly it's just about discarding of his grandfather so he can get the money. But there's some funny lines in here, and I think there was one when he started getting like really passionate about what he was singing. That's where I thought it got a little bit more funny. When he started to talk about why do you fight, you old motherfucker? Just walk towards the goddamn light. Like, okay, like I think he did a good job there, but otherwise it was just kind of whatever.
No, I also like that section, Chris, where like at first it's just kind of dumb, like all the fun stuff I'm gonna do when my grandpa dies. But the section where he's like, you're as old as the sun, your social security number is 1, just like you're so already almost there, just fucking go already. Like again, the intelligence to be like, I can't just do this one thing the whole friggin' song. And I think that's the funniest part of it. You're so old, your penis has varicose veins. Like, that's a fun image. I hope I have varicose veins in my wiener by the time I reach a certain age.
Do you guys like that he added the reprise at the end where it's, now that grandfather is dead, I made a small oversight. I'll start working on my grandma tonight.
Blew through that money too quickly. Got to
Well,
think
no,
of
no.
your financial.
The grandmother got the money, Jesse. I'll have to explain that. She got so he killed the grandfather's dead, a mysterious blow to his wrinkled old head, but a small oversight. He'll have to start working on his grandma tonight because she would inherit.
That's shitty of grandma. She's just going to hoard all that and not pass it on. Come on.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a funny punchline. I don't know. Do you think so?
What? That the grandma?
Yeah, like at the end, it's like that's the payoff. I don't know. I don't think it's that funny. Not that, again, I'm not offended. I just don't think it's funny.
Well, it's like after after the third act, what do they call the tying up of loose ends, the denouement, the little bit of the end, like after that crescendo of, you old motherfucker, walk towards a goddamn light. Then he's got that like calm verse where he, keeps it going. The reveal in the song is very quick, and it's kind of funny. Maybe it's not funny. After one of my grandparents passed away was around when I was interested in this song. And I remember like kind of getting some relief from whatever grief I was feeling by listening to this song. Cause I was driving around Florida where my grandparents were, and I was playing the song for my buddies that, and I was there to like go to I forget if my grandmother or my grandfather, one of their funerals. But I think this song is done very well. This one is very, very like a song, right? The last 3 things were almost like sketch songs. Mother's Day, Taxi Driver for the Ladies. This one is a structured out song, which I think is done very well. And I think without a doubt, like my favorite line is one that's thrown in there that probably nobody pays attention to at all. He says, "Grandfather die before the fiscal year." And like that line just makes you think like where the character's mind is. he needs this money before the year starts. That was my favorite part. But I do agree that the crescendo, if you will, you old motherfucker, walk towards a goddamn light, makes it a lot of fun. So I think this one is good to see live, and it's very enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah, this is one of the better songs on the album.
How about the next one?
Well, Opie and Anthony, Professional, he talks about in the intro to the song, Jesse, that he played this song on Opie and Anthony. They thought it was so bad that they made fun of him for it. And then essentially the crowd treats him like a jukebox and asks him to play it.
I looked so hard for that clip and I could not. It really annoyed me, but it does sound like what they would do. Like, Breaking Balls was like the number one thing with that show. So good for him that he took it in stride.
What do you think about the
popular
song?
I was going to say, is this a popular song though? Because they asked for it. I guess so.
No, I think he says that it's like a deeper cut that people like. He almost does it under protest, where he's like, guys, the bowling song, really? I'll say actually, I don't find the joke anything funny or entertaining about it. I do think musically it's one of the cooler ones. It's got a little bit of oomph behind it. I like the kind of legendary guy, type thing.
Yeah, I agree. You know, he fully admits the song is dumb, and he does play it under protest. Like, he basically says, like, why the fuck do you guys want to hear the song? But all right, I'll play it. And he seems also to indicate that he picked up the pace. So maybe the original one was slower. So it sounds, like a better musical version. But he prepares us that the song is stupid with the story. I will say that his research and knowledge on actual real bowlers the song is called Bowling Song. We forgot to say that, but it is actually pretty impressive. He does reference all of these people, which I assume, I didn't do the research, I assume they're all real bowlers, and it's not funny at all. He basically just has two funny lines. He just says that he's got a ball that's smooth and all black, and he keeps it in his lucky ball sack. Like, okay, you said ball sack, that's funny. And then he gets a feeling in his soul as I finger every hole, so he makes it sexual. Other than that, it's decent to listen to, but it's not really a funny song.
Yeah, like I said, musically, it's not bad at all.
You're right. Not funny. But I'll tell you what, the one line I did like is, how about Dickie Weber and his son Pete? I'll turn those motherfuckers to cream of wheat. To me, like, that's funny. I don't know why.
That's a good one.
That's the only thing I liked. Otherwise, it was like, come on, man. Haven't we made fun of bowlers enough?
Almighty Malachi. You can watch bowling on ESPN 8 the Ocho. You know, I found out that they stream that.
I laughed at Kingpin was funny. Wasn't
I love
it?
Kingpin. That's a great movie.
Kingpin's great.
Yeah.
I found out on the Roku channel, they actually do have a channel of ESPN 8 the Ocho that has all these like crazy sports. I watched,
cool.
I watched spike ball, I watched darts, and I watched axe throwing. And then there was a thing that said that they were going to have like the world championships of Microsoft Excel, and they were going to like make people do all the shit with spreadsheets. And I was like, I don't know why, but I kind of want to watch. I didn't catch it, but I kind of wanted to see what they were going to make them do.
Yeah, so not quite a silly sport, but I swear to my Catholic God on St. Paddy's Day, in the last few months, I have non-ironically really gotten into sumo wrestling. A friend, I have a friend who is like a super competitive person to the extent that he loves all sports, who really sang the praises of sumo. And I found this YouTube channel that like follows the big tournaments. They have a big tournament every other month, so they just doing the March stuff now. I have a favorite guy. I love it so much. I feel so fucking weird. It's a hobby, an interest I share with one person on the planet Earth.
Cool. I never watched it.
Check it out on the Ocho.
You know what I thought? I didn't think you were going to say sumo at all. I thought you were going to go a different direction. I was thinking of one of the most nerve-wracking, hectic thing I've ever seen in my life when you're thinking of weird sports is like the world championship of puzzling, of people putting together puzzles in like a huge room with like all these puzzles and everybody's like putting their puzzles together, and there's a clock and a timer, and people are looking at each other, seeing how far ahead they are versus the other person. Like, can you imagine that nonsense? I could never do that.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of sounds like something I'd like to like. It's a mindless watch. Like, if I am at home and I don't need, like, if I have to pay attention,
but would you do it? That's the question. Not would you watch it? Would you do it?
Oh no! When I do puzzles quite rarely. I do enjoy them, but you can even see over there I have a 90s puzzle. But they take me like a week. I take my time.
When I see something like that, or like video game speedrun competitors, all I think is like, if you applied this level of attention and trying to get an iota better every day to anything in science, we'd have cured cancer by now.
But you could practice video game speedruns. They're good at those because they practice every single day, day in and day out. How do you practice putting a puzzle?
No, true.
You can't practice that.
Practice science.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Hey, I'm not a scientist, so it's not like I'm fucking doing. I'm not helping the world.
A puzzle.
You're helping the world laugh, Jesse.
That's right.
And get from A to B, because you said that you drive Uber or Lyft or something.
I hate it so much. I just, my unemployment ran out. I'm just desperately trying to get another job.
All right. Well, you're up. Let's. Why don't you go into "She Got a Smile"? And this this features his buddy. I think his name is Mark Tyke.
That's right. Yes, he comes on and does a few songs there. Again, very odd. I don't think you'd see it much in entertainment today. I'll tell you one thing I like about this song. It's the only one that really develops a few characters, because he's flirting with a girl at a bar, and then she's just got a big fat friend in the way, but he's got a friend who is willing to it's very insulting, but I've heard the term before referring to the larger, less appealing friend as a hand grenade. And sometimes you got to have a buddy that's willing to hop on that hand grenade
That's
for you.
a very Jersey Shore of you to bring up. Yes.
Yeah. But actual like character development and things moving on. It's obviously relatable. Pretty dismissive. I'm not saying I haven't hopped on a few grenades in my time. That also sounds insulting, but hey, I'm a bigger guy. I'm sure I've been a grenade for many a lady just trying to help her friend out with my friend. So we're all a grenade for somebody.
Indeed.
True.
Except for Chris.
Yes. I'm always the
Chris is
other.
an Adonis.
I'm the one that's the first in line. I don't know what to say. I don't know. This I'm not sure how to talk about this one. So, Steve, why don't you go?
Well, I think what you're referring to is,
words.
Again, I don't know if this one really flies nowadays. There's, body shaving, just call shaming, not shaving.
You say shaving?
Shaming. I mean,
Body shaving on the Ocho.
yes, I do compete in.
There is a lot more
competitive
body shaving in 2025. Yes.
But no, like body shaming is not cool. So even just referring to somebody as a big fat friend nowadays is probably like not cool. I can still appreciate the comedy in what it was. I don't really, he didn't say anything like bad about this person other than they were quite big. However, there are a lot of really fun like lyrics thrown in here, and the way that he's written the song with his friend is quite clever. I think my favorite part is, baby, if it's boots you want to knock, leave your chubby friend at home because she's going to block the cock. Like that is very funny. And then again, when he kind of turns it around and says, well, you brought this person to kind of get in the way. Well, here's my friend who's non-discriminating. And, with every shot of Jaeger, he feels like you lose a couple pounds and he will have a good time with you because he's my non-discriminating friend. So it's a very good storytelling song. I think the guitar line, the lyrical delivery is very fun. So I can listen along and laugh.
Yeah. Speaking of the time, dude, you could not pay me to drink Jaeger in my late fucking 30s. I don't know how I drank it then. I drank it because Metallica drank it, and I was a fucking idiot. The band I like does it. Little did I know they were crippling alcoholics ruining their fucking lives and livers.
Bro, there was
Jaeger's
a time where
pretty gross.
That's all we drank was Jaeger. Like me and the group of friends, like they bought a Jaeger machine because we drank it so much.
Oh, wow.
The chilled Jaeger machine. Everybody knew someone with it.
I will say that even though it became a joke, the Jaeger bomb was quite delicious. I could drink some Jaeger bombs. You drop that Jaeger in a Red Bull, like I could have done that.
Oh God. Yo, I stopped drinking caffeine at a very early age because it was giving me panic attacks, but my God, Jaeger and Red Bull, it's like the opposite of chocolate and peanut butter. It's two terrible tastes that will burn your stomach lining together.
Yeah, man. If by delicious you mean gross, then I'm with you.
I mean, if it
100%.
ended in bomb while I was in college, I would probably drink it.
Irish car bomb, up the raw, still the best.
Those
I would drink.
good. Those are good,
dude. You want to know
I actually
one of my
didn't like
favorite-
Irish car bombs back in the day, but I've come around to them lately.
See,
Not lately.
I don't
I've
like,
never had one in the last 10 years, but somewhat lately.
I don't like any kind of chugging, but I do like mixing drinks. I think it comes from being a fat kid. Fat kids mix foods all the time because we're fat. That's what we do. But when I discovered, I don't know what your favorite mixer is because I mentioned I don't drink caffeine. Root beer is one of my goes to. Root beer and vodka, and then you pour a little bit of stout in it. Baby. Oh my God.
I do like those ones with the Guinness You can mix Guinness with a whole bunch of different things. There's this one bar
Mhm.
that I go to for trivia sometimes, and they have like 5 or 6 different like whatever they call them, Guinness mixers.
Mhm.
So there's like
Yeah, there's Guinness and Smithwick. There's
that's the cider,
Guinness.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, Guinness and cider. I think that's called a snake bite.
Then there's Black and Blue. That's with Blue Moon.
Mhm.
And there's probably other ones.
I didn't have
can't
any of those.
It's funny. People think Guinness is so heavy, but realistically, it's like
not.
it has less alcohol than a fucking
It's
Budweiser.
4.2, but it
Yeah.
fills you up is the thing. It's like eating a sandwich.
It's a goddamn nitrous. That's what I think. It's
What used to make me sick is Boilermakers. Did you ever do one of those?
my brother in Christ, I love a fucking Boilermaker. Whenever I go
What
and
is
I'm
that?
out with friends,
Define that.
it's when it's basically you get a citywide, you get a shot in a beer, and you pour the shot into the beer.
And it's whiskey.
again.
Citywide is
Yeah.
whiskey.
Or you drop the shot into the beer and drink it. You could do
Okay.
that too.
Did you
So,
guys
yeah,
ever
I-
hear of a bear fight?
No.
Oh man, I've never done a bear fight, but I've witnessed one that's gone horribly wrong. A bear fight is basically when you take a Jaeger bomb and an Irish car bomb back to back, and after you drink both of them, you put your hands up like this and you go. "Arr."
You made that up. You just made
No,
that
no,
up
no.
now.
I literally saw somebody do that and then vomit into the glass they just drank out of
Yeah,
because
you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah,
done it,
that's-
but yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. That's like some competitive drinking shit. That doesn't sound fun.
This is the shit that
Even-
happens at Penn State, Chris. You know these things get created, and
That's one of the less horrible things happening at Penn State. Sorry.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Here we
Sorry.
go. Here
Joe
we
Pa
go.
didn't know nothing.
it's funny. I thought he was talking about the kid who fell down the stairs, but yeah, that was also very bad.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
At least the porches are secure at Penn State. Let's just put it like that.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they don't collapse.
I sent Chris. Did you see that, Jesse, on social media on last weekend, St. Patty's Day? There was I forget, it was somewhere at University of Pittsburgh. There's a huge St. Patty's house party, and there was like a ton of people hanging out on like a roof, and the entire roof collapsed.
Like think
I
of like an
didn't see that.
overhang. Think of like a front porch, and then
God,
like one of
I-
those overhangs on top of the.
I sent
front
it to Chris
porch.
because I was genuinely concerned if he or one of his loved ones may or may not be in the area.
Yeah, my
Mhm.
daughter goes to
Yeah.
Pitt, but she was not there. But okay, so you stand on that with a bunch of people on an old ass house with a wooden overhang. Like, yeah, it's gonna break.
I mean,
You
it looked like it was
can't do it.
30 people. I mean, it was not a couple people. It was
Right.
it was
was-
a lot.
Yeah.
Not thought through at all.
No.
Are we still talking about
That's
Stephen
okay.
Lynch?
We were talking about Jaeger
Yeah.
and Boilermakers. And by the way, our precursor to Jaeger, and this is my last point, and then we can move on, was Sambuca. So Sambuca started it off,
Oh,
and then we
God.
transitioned. It was Sambuca everything.
Gross.
They were the Sambuca was flowing at the parties I went to. Can you believe
I
it?
always thought Sambuca tastes like a medicine that an Italian grandma makes you drink for like chicken pox.
Then we were chicken pox free.
That's
for
like
a
George
long time.
Carlin's joke about NyQuil. Everything else came out with a good flavor. NyQuil only has green death fucking flavor. They do have cherry
right.
now, though.
That's right. It's medicine. It's not supposed to taste good.
So what
All
about
right.
what about the next song?
The best friend song. Who wants to kick this one off? I've totally lost our.
Yeah. No, I'll take it. So this one is another duo. Unlike the last one, which was mostly for like, musical needs, this one is very much a duet. Mark carries just as much of the song. And again, I think this is very smart how he does this. He brings his friend out later out in the show, and he's doing things a little different. It's a duet. They're going back and forth. There's patter. Very, very vaudevillian. And as somebody who is very nostalgic for a time not even his grandfather was alive for, I like vaudevillian shit. And obviously the big joke, a little bit of Ebony and Ivory, you say potato when I say potato, that kind of shit. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I like my toast buttered, like, and I want to fuck your sister. And that's the joke for pretty much the rest of the song, but it doesn't last that long and it's funny. And, it's always funny in like that straight man, funny man kind of bit where everything goes off the rails and there's one like, I didn't agree to this, blah, 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 and the other guy's just like, yeah, but I want to fuck your sister in the butt. So totally fine. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I love the build up in this one and how the punchline is kind of like, quietly thrown in there, right? It takes a little bit of, there's some banter in the beginning, and then, we've been friends for so many years. One. Oh yeah, well, one. That's a lot of months. And then, they kind of go back and forth with the Toast and the Beatles and the Stones. And then he quietly throws in like "I Want to Nail Your Sister," and then the bit is that they're keeping the song going. Oh, just keep going, and then eventually it's "I just want to fuck the shit out of your sister," and then eventually the bigger reveal even comes in where I'd go pick her up at her junior high school, and then
Like, that
Steven,
sister.
yeah, that's it. And then it just goes crazy. I want to fuck her sister. Blah, 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 and he's fuck her in her face, doing all this crazy shit. And then I think that the way that they end it is so silly and crazy that it just makes me laugh. Like, wait a minute, you want to fuck that sister? 2650, ding, ding, and that's the end. Like I think that's a pretty well thought out joke song. I think it was good.
Yeah.
You know what always makes me really sick is MD 2020. Like when I drink too much of that.
Mad Dog.
Good old Edward 40 hands back in the day. Man, that'll make you. God, I'm trying to think of just like, what? I think just whiskey in general is just something. Not only is it something people drink when they're young, but even like, I don't know, man, the older I get, I have so many friends that are getting into bourbon, and it's like, look, I don't want to touch any liquor that I can't mix with soda. I'm not going to pretend I have a refined palate in this.
Like I'll drink an old fashioned. I like old fashioned's fine.
Old fashions are okay.
That's probably as far as I'll go. I never liked whiskey. It always tasted weird to me. I I'm not the guy. I just never was, and I'm not going to force myself to be today just because I want to be with the in crowd that loves bourbon or that sort of thing. You guys can have all the bourbon you want. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't want it.
dude. My cousin is really into bourbon, and he's tried to give me this shit and be like, can you get like the smoky peatiness out of it? And I'm taking these baby sips of just like, you got like a Gatorade I could dump this into and completely waste its worth. Like I'm getting nothing out of this.
Just not my taste. Just can't do it. There's people like, oh, you got to try this old like 1545 bourbon with the barbecue. I'm like, what? Like, I don't want any of that. Like, leave that alone. All right. So the song itself, I get what you guys are saying. Like, there was the back and forth is okay. I just felt like the joke was forced a little bit too much. I do like the funny / straight guy routine. So, maybe chuckle just a little bit, some of the stuff, but I think it went on just a bit too long. And like I said, I didn't say this, but maybe this one's better live. Maybe if I saw them do it live with some mannerisms and some facial expressions, I probably would be a little bit more amused by it. But just here, I was like just like, whatever.
Well,
good. Sorry. No, go ahead. I was going to say something weird.
I was going to move on. If you want to say something weird, you can say it.
Oh, very fun fact for anybody who cares about the history of entertainment. That vaudevillian, two guys, straight men talking to each other, actually comes from Chinese opera. They have their own weird kind of comedy called crosstalk that you can like look up modern versions of it today. It's literally Abbott and Costello shit. That blew my mind when I first learned that.
Like, do you think Who's on Third, Who's on Second? You think that's funny? You think that's a funny bit?
I think it's incredibly clever. And it was probably hilarious at the time to people who had never heard anything of that nature.
I wouldn't argue that.
Well, Chris, I think you already said that you don't find D&D jokes that funny. So I assume you didn't like this one.
I don't know where you would sit there and like laugh at the top of your lungs like about this. Like, it's so funny that these guys actually do those things, and ha ha ha. Like, I don't know. Like, so the joke is that it's poking fun at people that play D&D and like all the things they probably do when they go do that. I understand, and I don't play D&D, so I'm not even like butthurt about that. But I mean, The only thing I'll give this one is that, putting this together, some of the things in here I think were okay. I like some of the stuff at the end, Warriors that terrify, Virgins till the day we die. So there's some lines in here that are okay, but for the most part, I just don't think it's super creative. I think it's just all of the straightforward stuff. If I look and read a book about how to make funny jokes about quote unquote nerds or something like that, like this is what I would read. These are the bullet points, and this is transferred into a song. That's what I think about this.
Yeah, I don't think that it's really funny. I feel like this is a song made for people to say, like, it's okay to be a player, a kid who plays D&D, and it's okay to, like, poke fun at yourself that you're a virgin or that you've never had a girlfriend. But I don't think the song is funny. I feel like, again, this is another one of the songs that's more of a structured song, and it's got a good melody to it, and it actually has some good harmonies to it between Mark Tyke and Stephen Lynch. But it's not a song that makes me laugh. It's a song that makes me just kind of like think and, and highlight D&D. I feel like Stranger Things also brought D&D to an acceptable level. Like, it's not just for, the absolute nerdiest of nerds or whatever. There's a lot of people to play it.
Isn't this a comedy album though? Like, you're saying it's not supposed to be funny. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't find it funny, but I found it, it's kind of, it was somewhat poking fun, but I feel like it was kind of just explaining that D&D kids are, misunderstood.
Yeah, I will say also very much at the same time, the cult show Freaks and Geeks, their final episode has an entire story arc that's based upon one of the cool kids playing Dungeons and Dragons with the geeks. That
oh yeah, I remember.
Very cool. Yeah. Now, honestly, song does nothing for me. Don't really find it funny. Also, just to be truthful, I listen to a lot of power metal, which, if you're unaware of, is basically musical D&D, no jokes whatsoever. It's all about Tolkien and princesses and fucking dragons riding through a rainbow. So this one just might hit too close to stuff I actually enjoy seriously, even though I've never played D&D and really don't have an interest to.
I had Magic cards, but I didn't get very into them. It was like a month. That was it.
I think all the things you just said were funnier than this song.
That's fine.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the next one is quite topical. This episode is coming out a few days after St. Patrick's Day, but we are recording on St. Patrick's Day, and this is in honor of St. Patrick's Day. It's an old Irish anthem. Chris, what did you think of "Down to the Old Pub" instead?
So this is a period joke. Is that what this is?
Like a period piece, you mean? Like a point in time, or
no? I don't mean
yes,
that.
it's a joke about periods. Yes.
I actually would have preferred it just being a song, a nice like Irish song that I could listen to.
You didn't like this one?
I love Irish pub songs, man. Yeah.
I would have preferred that. I think it's a good song to listen to. Like, it's a fun tune. But I mean, it kind of ruins it with the period joke, because is that funny, guys? Come on now.
It's also completely unrelated to that. That's what kind of struck me, is like, I understand like pulling the
why
twist,
do the Irish care about periods?
Yeah, it literally doesn't make sense. By the way, if you want a good period joke, my buddy Neil Wood Comedy, check him out. Period sex is hard work, isn't it? You got to rent all those costumes.
Good one.
The fucking cat in the background made that silence so good. Do not edit that cat out.
We will not. He can't be edited.
We never do.
Be ungovernable. Ungovernable, uneditable.
Give the people out there that really thought this was enjoyable, Steve, a reason to enjoy it more. I'm sure you like this one.
I really did enjoy it. I like his like Irish accent, and yes, an Irish folk song and women on their periods don't necessarily correlate, But that's the funny part, is that he's creating this, narrative, this story. And again, in the first verse, you don't find out really what we're talking about right until the end of the first verse there. The river runs red, she's starting her flow. Each one of the things is not necessarily like that funny, but I think when you put it all together, it's a well put together song. And I think it's really good. He makes this joke about going down at a girl in her period and calling it tastes like some old rusty coins. And like at that point, he kind of pauses for half a second and like lets the audience react to it, which I think is pretty good. So I like the fact of taking two completely unrelated topics and putting them together. I think it does make for a funny song.
I'll give you that one part. I'll give it to you. I think that was good. That was good timing.
He also paused again when he goes, as menfolk, let's be thankful that we don't bleed from our cocks. Like, saying outrageous things like that. That's a head scratcher. Like, yes, as men, we're probably thankful that doesn't happen. I thought that was also another good point.
Jesse, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, weirdly enough, I just watched the movie Saltburn for the first time the other day.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Which featured Irish actor Barry Keoghan going down on a girl with her period. So there's another Irish period crossover, 2 in 1 week. Erin go bragh.
That was Irish a weird fucking movie.
You know what I will say? I usually hate movies that are gross for the hell of it, and I think this was definitely one of them. I will say though, when it comes to everything being revealed, it sticks the landing. I really felt that, and like, oh, okay, I get it now.
We have some agreement over here.
Yeah,
this guy's hungry.
That's funny. I like that.
Chris likes cat meowing humor. That gets him every time.
So this is the last song. Steve, you can do the honors since this is the last song.
Lullaby, the divorce song. I mean, this is a brutally honest song. This is about a guy who's been abandoned by his wife, and he's talking to his daughter about this is why mommy's not around anymore. And he's brutally honest, and he says that it's his own fault because daddy likes porno and $10 whores, and daddy gets wasted and robs liquor stores. He does tend to take it a little far. Daddy likes rubbing against little boys on the bus, but I think overall this is a pretty funny song where he's talking to his daughter, and he doesn't make a joke like, I should know where my daughter is. Hey, this is for my daughter, wherever you are. I should know where my daughter is tonight. But this is one of those things where he makes like a really soft, sweet song that kind of goes to all ends. And I enjoyed it. I felt like it was very good.
Yeah, I feel like this was the second really big breakout song from the Comedy Central Presents, along with Superhero. I will say, unlike a lot of the songs, this one doesn't go crazy with the shock humor. This one would still be popular today, I think, because the narrator is the one with all the problems. He's not insulting anybody or demeaning anybody. He's the fucking problem.
Daddy's the problem. And he has sores on his naughty parts oozing with pus.
The second oozing pus. I think Stephen Lynch, if he doesn't have herpes, has someone in his life that is close to him that has herpes. He knows too much.
It's calling him out.
Yep. This is also on the first album, by the way. This is the first track on the first album too. So
they make it seem like this is an encore because he had said goodnight after Down to the Old Pub Instead and kind of came back.
I could see where this would be a popular one that people would want to hear. I think this is a good one. I'll give him this. I'll say, I like the fact that it's like a lullaby. It is called Lullaby, but it is like a lullaby, and he keeps that character the whole time with the stuff that he says. And you guys called out a lot of the great lyrics. I'm kind of like, he'll drive to the strip club, and if daddy plays his cards right, he'll bring home your new mommy tonight.
That's great.
That's so funny. So I mean, that's, again, I'll give credit where credit's due. Stephen Lynch has his moments, and I think one of those moments is on the song.
Hey, I don't know if either of you grew up with a single father, but hearing some random woman being asked, like, "Yeah, you like this to be your new mommy?" That happens pretty often. Rest in peace,
Fair.
Pop, wherever you're at.
Fair enough.
Well,
And
we
that's
got through
it,
the whole
Steve.
album. Chris, I'm sad that you didn't enjoy it more. It seems like you did enjoy it a little bit, and it does seem like that you accidentally listened to 2 Stephen Lynch albums. So you got, well, the 2 first ones. You didn't get the more recent ones or the more evolved ones, but you got some.
I did, and I'll give some commentary on that when we get into kind of the end of the episode. But I think the next thing that we want to do is ranking it. Unless you got a game in between, Steve, you usually do.
Nope, I got no games. When it's my picks, I don't have the games.
Well, then let's head right into ranking it. And even though we know which is Jesse's number 1 song, which
Sorry.
is okay.
I
It's
forgot.
okay.
I forgot already.
Yeah, we all forgot, but that's cool, man. Don't worry about it. For everybody out there that doesn't know what ranking it is, it's simple. We rank our top 3 favorite songs on the album that we're talking about today. So let's get right to it. Guests are always first. Jesse, give us your top 3 in order. 3, 2, 1. Off of the album Superhero.
Okay. You know what? I said my favorite was the Smashing Pumpkins one, but you know what? I'm gonna put that at number 3, actually, just because it is one of the quicker ones. It's more of an idea than a full thing. Shouldn't have been any longer, but yeah, for that, I think I'm gonna put that there. I think I gotta go Lullaby for number 2. It's also just a very, very pretty, well-written song, and I like the angle it takes, and has nice twists and turns. And I gotta put Superhero number 1. Superhero is just great, particularly this live performance, which I had not heard before. I always knew the Comedy Central Presents version that omitted the crowd participation. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, Superhero, Lullaby. What if that guy from Smashing Pumpkins lost his car keys?
This is boring, but that's my same 3. That's exactly the route I'm gonna go.
Great minds.
That's exactly the route I'm gonna put. What if the guy from Smashing Pumpkins is number 3? I'm gonna put Lullaby at number 2, and I'm gonna put Superhero at number 1. I can't go any other direction. And I'm looking at these songs like, can I fit something else in? And I cannot. Steve, that is my top 3 as well.
Well, mine is not going to be samesies as the 2 of you. It's actually going to be completely differences. I'm going to go with number 3, the Best Friend song, which is between. Go ahead.
No, that would have been my number 4. It's a close one.
Between Mark Tyke and Steven. I thought that was great. I enjoyed the period piece, if you will, between the the Irish folk song and the menstruation, which was Down to the Old Pub instead. And listen, just for its shock value, it's a short song, but I just remember, like, I don't know, I didn't hear a whole lot of abortion humor as a teen, and I thought For the Ladies was great. Was my favorite, because the whole thing with that song is that he starts off and he goes, "This song is for the ladies," and then everybody cheers, and he goes, "You might want to save those woos," and then he sings that song and goes through it. So I'm going For the Ladies. It's not a popular pick apparently, but that's my top 3.
You know what? The equivalent for me of that song is the dude that dresses up like a pimp for Halloween nowadays and thinks it's like really funny that he did that, but it's not funny at all.
I don't know. I just maybe it wasn't in my circle that was a joke that was told so often that I thought it was played out. I don't know.
Did you dress like a pimp for Halloween?
One year when I was like 19, when I was 19, I did a pimp, and I had a girlfriend who was like several years older than me, so it was pretty pimp, to be honest with you.
That was like 6 years after the pimp thing started, I think.
All right, well, I was in the vicinity.
I think you were in the vicinity. I think you were still okay.
Yeah, not after that though.
That's just
not after whatever. Like 1998 or 9.
If you still do it today in the year 2025, Actually, it's been long enough where it's probably okay again.
No, nowadays that's not okay.
No,
Yeah.
Not
Everything's
like
too
the
sensitive.
big
It's
hat
also-
and the shoes and all that stuff.
I think it's okay because I think it's an anachronism now. I think pimping has been replaced by OnlyFans, girls are their own bosses now. Hopefully.
You can dress up like the OnlyFans guy. Like, what is that? What does that guy dress like? There's no
I-
hat or shoes for that.
He's trying very hard to convince his girlfriend to support his drug habit. That's what he looks like.
There's no pimp cup for that. You can't. There's no cup you can carry
Yeah,
around
no.
a party.
That guy's pimp cup is like a 7-Eleven big gulp.
Well, Chris, I'm sorry that you didn't enjoy this album as much as I did as a youth. And, even now when I listen back to it, I kind of know like all the words by heart. And listen, I enjoy music. I enjoy comedy. And I do think that Stephen Lynch does a really, really good job of combining the two. He's very likable. And sometimes you don't see the horrible directions that he might be going in, and he might fool you. He might not fool you. But if you think about it as a live experience, like going to see him is always going to be fun. Like if he has new material and he is coming to my city and I am available that day, like I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to get a babysitter, and like my wife likes comedy, as Jesse said, it's a very date nighty thing. It's really good. And throughout his career, he's touched on all of the topics, whether you think they're inappropriate, played out, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I mean, he touches on religion, and he touches on race, and he touches on all this different shit. So I feel like he's very clever, and I always like to see what he's going to come up with next, because if you like stand-up comedy and you're following a specific comedian, whoever he or she may be, you like to see what is the next thing, whether it's on your Netflix or at your local comedy club. Like, it's always good to follow the people that you like. So I'm always, if he's going on tour, I'm going to make an attempt to see him. I saw him last time in 2020. I think it might have been the last thing I saw before COVID. At the TLA in Philly. So if he comes back around, I will see him again for sure.
Yeah, I'd give it a chance.
Yeah, I'd be more likely to say, drop me a line next time he comes by, because I
Yeah.
probably won't know, but I would go check it out.
Yeah, I follow him on the Twitter X Twitter. So we'll I'll keep you in mind. Jesse, you've listened to other stuff of his. Do you have any idea, like, does this album compare to the others? What do you think? I know you watched the comedy specials.
Right. Now, everything I've heard from him otherwise has been few and far between. There are a few other songs that popped up here and there. So I really wouldn't know what it is in comparison. Based on what I read in a little bit of my research, I understand he expanded the act musically a little bit. I know he brought in a female singer and I think some instruments here and there. I'd actually, from a musical standpoint, I'd like to see a little bit more what he's capable of. So maybe I will go explore some of those after this.
Chris, did you listen to any? I know you listened extensively to the one before this by accident. Anything after, or not really?
Nothing after, no. Just these two albums. So should I continue? Will I be pleasantly surprised if I continue to listen?
I mean, based upon your reaction, I'd probably tell you to just hit the pause button. Anybody out there that enjoyed this at least a little bit, I would say listen to more. The next album, The Craig Machine, is really good. There's a song. It kicks off the song Vanilla Ice Cream, which is about race and dating somebody of a different race, or he really likes darker women. There's an Ugly Baby song. There's the two, the one I mentioned where he's Jesus's brother. That's a pretty big song of his. And then he's the devil, Beelzebub, who goes by the nickname Beals. There's one that he does about Nazis, which hits close to home, but is still funny, called Little Tiny Mustache. And then even after that, I think most of the stuff after that does start to go away from that shock humor type of Opie and Anthony, Howard Stern type stuff. I really liked his album 3 Balloons, which was very good. Lion was a little more subdued, not as intense in your face, but definitely some funny songs. So I would say if you thought this was funny at all, keep listening. And if Stephen Lynch if he comes to your town, go check him out. It's not a crazy expensive $100 concert ticket. It's 40 or $50, and it's a good night out, and you'll have a couple drinks and have a good time. And Stephen Lynch is funny. I'm in.
Did you listen to A Little Bit Special at all?
Yeah. I've heard everything that he's done.
Okay. What was your favorite song on that album?
Let me see. Let me just scroll right through.
Because I had one, even though it's really, really bad, but it was a good song, but it was really, really bad. Is Special. I thought that was a good one.
I mean, that's a very popular song of his. That was the song that he kind of started with. That was definitely on that original Comedy Central special.
Special Ed, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite. I'd have to re-listen before I answer that.
A lot of bad Christopher Walken impressions too.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, that was super fun. So thank you guys for listening along with us. Chris, sorry that you didn't enjoy it that much. Jesse, did you enjoy listening back to this record?
I did. It brought up a lot of nostalgic feelings for me, just because, again, as somebody who enjoyed comedy and was very young, in my teen years when this came out, was very familiar with it. He's a guy I haven't followed much since then, but it's definitely inspired me. Even though I didn't love everything, I'm definitely curious to see what he's doing now. So I'm probably going to look into that.
Yeah, it's definitely more folksy, and he finds topics that aren't like as risque as some of the stuff he did earlier in his career, but he still finds like funny shit to talk about for sure and sing about. Jesse, tell people where they can follow you and your stuff.
Follow me at Jesse Dram on Instagram. That's really all I have going on right now.
Spell
my
it.
YouTube
It's not hard it's not easy to spell.
Good call. JESSEDRAHAM. And yeah, just follow me on there. If I have any shows coming up, it'll be on there. Every show I have coming up right now is private, so I won't advertise it because you can't come. Sorry.
And is your Kill Your Gods podcast on like hiatus? I see it's been a bit since you've come out with stuff. Sorry, I don't mean to
No.
anger you.
Me and my previous partner, who the podcast turned into a YouTube channel. Me and the previous partner are no longer speaking, and let's just say he may have destroyed his marriage over it. It's pretty sticky. It's very tied into what I was talking with you about, the stuff that I was talking about before we started the show. So
it was because you were at a bar, there was a big fat friend there, and he wouldn't be the non-discriminating friend is what happened. Yes.
You know what's funny is we were those guys when we were in our 20s. And let me just say, the fact that I'm almost 40, I thought the days of this guy's stupid dick affecting my life were long over. And boy, I was wrong. You know what? To coin a phrase, it's almost like high school never ends. So
I love that. Well, if you need some new co-hosts, we don't have a lot of time, but if we'll do an episode here and there if you ever want to pull that back.
You know what? Maybe this will be an impetus to get off my ass. I've been wanting to start a podcast for a while called Wolf Tones, where I talk about very specific dumb things that I've found interesting, and I'm going to invite my guests to do the same thing. So let's just say, just go look up Wolf Tones podcast, and maybe that will make me finally make this thing.
That would be fun. And Chris, we have a little something special we're going to do at the end of this episode, right?
We do. We're going to draw some names, aren't we?
We are. So coming up, this is Steve Picks March, and we're gonna go into next month patron picks April. So all of our patrons, our paid patron members, are gonna get the opportunity to choose anything that they want for us to talk about. So most likely it'll be an album, but it could be something out of the ordinary, whatever they want. And we have all of our patron members on little notes here, and we're gonna pick out 3 of them. So I'll do some random drawing. I'll hold it up for Chris, and you let us know who is gonna pick those albums or topics, and then Well, get ready for April.
Just to clarify, though, it's not all of our Patreon members. It's the ones we choose.
We're doing
correct?
three. Three
Yes.
of our Patreon members are going to
Three.
get episodes.
Yes.
So the
Okay.
first one
Tom.
is Tom. The second one is
Punkish
Dad.
and last but not least, we have. Can you read that as a backwards?
Ashley.
Ashley with the goofy
Ashley.
spelling.
Hey, how dare you? Punkish Dad, Tom, and Ashley, we will be in touch. You're going to pick some topics, and we are going to talk about them next month. So that is going to be super fun.
Can't wait. That's going to be a ton of fun. But, Steve, your month is not up yet. You still have some picks left. Maybe one or two. I don't know how many weeks are left in March. I think there's 2, right?
Just one. I was petitioning for an extra Thursday in March, but I only have one left.
You got cut short. But, hey, look, even though I didn't have a good time out there on this album, actually, I did have a good time. It's been a long time since I've been able to do this, Steve. I've been way too positive over the last, a couple months. So this feels really good.
Yeah,
to
you
not have to be so
like
positive.
To spew that anger and hate.
Sometimes it feels good. It just kind of rejuvenates me to do that. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
You're welcome.
Jesse, it's always a pleasure, and it's awesome to talk to you again. Hopefully
Love
we
you
get
guys.
hopefully we get to do this again very soon. And I guess finally is hopefully all of you out there enjoyed your time here. We'd love to hear from you. If so, give us a 5-star review if you really like the show, this show, or any of the other shows we have on High School Never Ends. And then give us a written review too, because that's how we really know you liked our show, and you get to kind of identify some of the specifics that you liked about it. But not only that, we have a shop. Go check us out. So go check that out. Actually, we have some really cool stuff, some swag. We got mugs, we got gloves, we got hats, we got t-shirts, probably more than just that. So visit our hub, which is www.hsnepod.com. And that will connect you to our shop where you can check out all those cool things.
Yeah, from hsnepod.com, you can also hit up our Discord server where you can chat with us about episodes, life, anything that you're thinking of. We're on all the socials at hsnepod, like High School Never Ends Pod. And our Patreon members just got an exclusive. So if you want to be part of that club, go to patreon.com/hsnepod. Last week, unfortunately, is the last Steve picks for March. I am looking forward to it very, very much. Until then, keep on rocking your dad bods, throw up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
If you're enjoying this podcast or any podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon shop. You can tout your podcast pride while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. Make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com. Get your dragon swag on.
It's Dragon Wagon.